by definition, it's how the game's restarted. So something has happened before, and it's an opportunity for us again then to impose our style on the opposition. It's a big part of our job. It's a big part of the momentum in the game as well. So obviously, if you want to get the ball out, you want to attack, you want to play with the ball. If it's your set piece, if you don't get your stuff right from the start and you don't get the set piece right, you can't do that. It falls at the first hurdle. And then on the flip side of that, the opposition are trying to do the same thing. They want to get the ball out, they want to play, they want to try and put pressure back on you. So again, if you can disrupt that at stage one and step one, either by stealing the ball or the way that we scrummage or whatever that might be, then it gives you a massive, it can have massive momentum swings within the game.
I want to see lifters get their feet underneath, jumpers, keep their shape up and down on the same spot. Everyone happy? Yeah. Let's go, bounce it out! Keep bouncing! Okay, listen up. Now you're going to be in pods of 3. I want you always to land and move that way towards the touchline, okay? Win those first 2 feet. Hookers, you can move round, throw to any pod, they're not going to be there. Wherever they go, move round, throw to them, you're always landing that way. Let's go, boom!
As you see over the last couple of seasons, I think the line-up's been used more and more as obviously as a launch for your first phase attack, but I think teams are starting to get a lot more creative in terms of what you can do from the line-up, and not just the sort of trick plays around the 5 metre line. Now it's starting to be used as a weapon throughout the pitch. I think even exit-wise now you can sort of change it up a little bit and throw some different things in, and it's a good platform where you can control a bit more how we launch, especially sort of the back line we've got. We want to try and launch those boys as best we can and put us in a great position.
The quality of ball we can give our back line to attack off first phase, that's obviously a massive weapon we can have. And also, if your line-up defence is at the top of the league and it's good, people won't kick the ball off against you. They'll try and carry it against you. And you give the likes of Tommy Ellis, Josh McInally, Will Spencer, Charlie Ewels as big lads to hit people. And then you've got your smaller lads like your Underhills, your Miles, your Bayliss to get over the ball and pinch it and run away with it. So the fact your line-up defence is so good, teams won't kick it out off the pitch. Therefore, they run at you, giving other people opportunities to do their bit.
We have like an attack leader and a defence leader, so I often run the attack, which means that I'll be talking to the fly half. He'll let me know what it is that he wants from the line. We'll sort of talk about what it is we want from the line, i.e. the number of people in it, what we want to do from it, whether we want to drive or play off the top. And then I'll then make the call to the forwards about what we're going to do. And then we have a guy on the field that'll be the nominated defensive leader who, when it's opposition ball, he's deciding how we want to defend and what we want to do, how we want to try and stop them.
Your role's so massive, and it might not look massive and no one might notice it, but it is. There's loads of little bits of detail and everyone's got to be bang on with the detail of what their role is, and that's what gives you that crisp off the top ball or that drive setup.
You've got the jump, the lift and the throw, and if one of them's off, then the line-up whole thing falls apart. And quite often you feel for hookers, they'll get blamed for if it's an overthrow, it's usually the hooker's fault, but if you look back at it, more often than not, it could be someone's missed the lift or their timing's a little bit off and the body shape of the jumper's not quite right, so you can't get that max lift. So they put the ball where they're expecting it to be from where you've been in training all week, and suddenly it's 3 or 4 inches off, and that's the difference of winning a nice clean ball or sailing over the top, which is not a coach's dream. It's something that we spend a lot of time on, just making sure the quality of your jump, your lift and your throw is good. You have a bit of variation you're going to change each week in terms of where you're called, depending on what you see from the opposition. But the main thing is that we just focus on ourselves. If we can get all of that drill spot on, you can almost tell the opposition where you're going to throw, and hopefully you're still going to beat them because you've just drilled it so well, and everything's to the fine points where it needs to be.
So now we're going, okay, scrum, double squeeze, and we're going to our brain shake the hats.
Yes then! Yes then, Dunn! Let's go! Let's go! Come on boys, let's go, guys! Down! Mind! Set! Squeeze! Yes, sir! Stand there up! Yes, sir! Go! Back to me! Let's go! Let's go!
You think about everything we're trying to do, and you think about our style of rugby, what we want to play. Our style of rugby could look like us winning a penalty, and then kicking up the field, advancing up the field, and then we're into our attack organisation. We can run our strike plays, we can get our backs into the game. Also, it could look like us striking away from a scrum and running our plays away from that. The same with defensive scrums. Like I said, if we've got a scrum in the opposition's 22, for example, the last thing we want to allow the opposition to get away with is a free kick or a penalty. You know, you think about them, then they kick up the field. For us now, it's make sure we either pressure at source, put pressure on the delivery, or we allow them just to play away, because if they're inside the 22, they're going to kick the ball out. We get the ball, we can get back to our attack organisation, or if it's outside the 22, teams are then kicking us the ball, we're back to our kick counter, and we're back to our style, the way we want to play.
You're always guaranteed to have a scrum in the game, and you're guaranteed, you can't hide from it, you can't run away from it. You know, if you come out of the defensive line to tackle someone, they pass it, you don't get to fire that shot. You know, if you go to run at someone and they just chop you around the ankles, you don't get to fire that shot, but a scrum, you can't hide. The bit I enjoy about scrums, right, as well on that, is you all hear back say, oh, scrums are boring. When we get a penalty try or a penalty from a scrum, you'll see Semester Rokodaguni run 70 metres, or Anthony Watson tap us on the bum and say, mate, that was class. Do you ever see a front row forward run 70 metres and tap them on the bum for a good kick or a good high ball catch? We don't really get excited by that, and they act like they don't get excited by it, but they do. And I think that shows it's such a team effort, it's such a combined effort, it's such a 8-man, even potentially bigger with the noise they create when they celebrate. It's such a teamwork, it's so important to it, it's such a team effort to make it good.
For us, our hooker, he's the general of our scrum, so he runs everything, especially around the setup. So he's the person who sets our height, sets our gap, gives us alignment, so understanding where we need to be in comparison to the opposition. The loose heads and tight heads will then set where he's set. So our tight head is our big block. He's the man that's got to hold it up. He's got to hold everything stable. And then our loose head for us is, you think on our ball, he's the man where the ball needs to travel through. He needs to make sure he's giving good pitches. He's got good high binds, and we're making sure we're getting that ball back through. The little bits around the setup are so important for our back five also. Like, they've got to make sure they maintain their height, make sure they maintain good positions, so then when we come to the engagement and build and pressure phase, they're in the best positions they can be. It's just understanding, and it's that bigger picture understanding of the game we want to play. Like, we can't just isolate our scrum away from our game. It's us understanding that style and making sure everybody understands the bigger picture philosophy and our style, how that connects to our scrum. So for us, it's, and we talk about this a lot, is how do we adapt to what's in front of us? How do we adapt in game to make sure that it allows us to get those outcomes that we want?
We're adapting all the time, so we're adapting to how the referee's interpreting things. We want to adapt to what the opposition are trying to do. We're adapting to the weather conditions. We're adapting to what we've got on the field, as we said before, if guys have gone off. So, you know, that the game's about adapting and learning. You've got 80 minutes to win the match. So yeah, what happens in the first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you know, you can be changing and shaping how it is you're going to play to find, if you find a weakness or you find a strength, those are the things you want to go after. So I think outside of the line out, we're looking to adapt all the time. It's the same with the boys at the scrum. Obviously, they're a lot more driven by what the opposition are doing and what the referee is interpreting. So they're all game trying to make sure that they stay the right side of that, or they stay one step ahead of the opposition, so that we can dominate in that area firstly, but equally as well we can deliver clean ball.